Hope College finished their 2023 regular season with a 3-game winning streak, and they're hoping to keep that run going today against the Loras College Dewhawks. The energy was up in Ray and Sue Smith Stadium. Hope was ready to start the season off with a victory. Starting off strong in the first quarter, Chance Strickland sneaks by for an early touchdown. The Dutchmen lead the Dewhawks 7-0. A minute left now in the first quarter. Strickland with the wide run again, another touchdown for Hope. They are still in the lead at the end of the quarter, 21-0. Second quarter now, ball is on the 3, and the Dutchmen once again showing why they win game after game as Chance Strickland continues to dominate. The score is 28-0 Hope. The Dewhawks still can't make anything happen. They finished the first half with 0 points on the board. But the Dutchmen are flying high and they have no signs of stopping. A touchdown from Taylor Amos and they widen the lead some more, 42-0. But Chance Strickland still has his eyes on the end zone. Now he's no Travis, but he knows how to ball, and he puts even more points on the board. The Flying Dutchman absolutely crushed the Dewhawks. Final score, 49-0. Welcome back to 13 on Your Sidelines College Edition. Today I'm at Davenport University where the Panthers are taking on Central Missouri for their first home game of the season. The Panthers are on a 2-game winning streak and hoping to keep that run going at home. First quarter, a throw from Mike O'Horo is complete to Liam Kavanaugh, and he takes off down the field, just barely making it into the end zone for the first Panthers touchdown at home. But the Mules are ready to strike back. LaAngelo Bell shoots through the gap for a touchdown, passing the Panthers' early lead 12-7. Second quarter now, and the Panthers are ready to take back that lead. Khalif Jenkins has the ball and goes for the dive, just barely crossing the line for another Panthers touchdown. But the Mules get the ball back on their side of the field. Christian Dixon makes the catch in the end zone, and they are 18-14. O'Horo now with another great throw to Preston Smith, and the pass is complete. Panthers score another touchdown. But Davenport can't keep the momentum going. They lose in the last quarter by just 1 point. Final score, 32-31, the Mules. Welcome back to 13 on Your Sidelines College Edition. I'm here at Hope College where the Flying Dutchmen are getting ready to take on Trine University. Hope College is ranked in the top 25 so far this season and have a 4-0 undefeated streak. And the momentum from past wins keeps on going today. Less than 4 plays into the first quarter, Chance Strickland runs it all the way from the 46, almost making it into the end zone. Second down, and Strickland finishes what he started, making it into the end zone from 1 yard out. And the Dutchmen are all gas, no brakes. Tyler Amos sneaks past the line for another touchdown. Hope leads at the end of the first quarter, 14-0. Second quarter now, Chance Strickland is ready for another. He weaves his way through to the end zone, and this guy makes scoring touchdowns look easy. The Flying Dutchman getting it back towards the end zone once again, and Ben Wellman goes for it, making it 28-0. Hope finishes the game 42-6, marking the 500th win in program history. I'm here at Western Michigan University as the Broncos take on Northern Illinois. The Broncos have not lost a single game at home so far this season and are hoping to keep that record going tonight. Western has been off for a few weeks but came out hot looking for another victory. Start of the first quarter, a quick snap to Jaden Nixon and he runs with it. 66 yards down the field for the first touchdown of the game. And they keep it going. Huskies offense has it now, but they fumble, and the Broncos defense is there with the recovery. Western takes over. But the Huskies have their own game plan. Telly Johnson with the touchdown carry, and they tie it up 7-7. The Broncos now looking to catch up, and Nixon is on fire this game with another impressive touchdown run. The Broncos lead at the end of the first, 14-7. But they can't keep that hot streak going. The Huskies have the ball back in the red zone. Ethan Hampton with the throw to Devin Reynolds, and he makes the catch. Huskies win 42-28, marking the first loss at home for the Broncos. Maddie Monroe, 13 on your side. Tonight, during halftime here at Ford Field, legendary Lions wide receiver Calvin Johnson will join the team's version of their Hall of Fame.
Last year was obviously a pretty special season for the Lions, and when Lo and I look around Ford Field, I think there's 2 things missing. The first is a Super Bowl banner, and the second is Calvin's name in the rafters.
Calvin Johnson played 9 seasons in the NFL, all of them with the Detroit Lions, and is considered as one of the greatest wide receivers of all time.
The Pride of the Lions is a really exclusive club that honors former Detroit Lions players who were extraordinary, both on the field and off the field, and what they accomplished as players, but also within their communities, what kind of teammate they were. And Calvin Johnson will be only the 21st member in a 90-year history for our franchise.
In 2007, Johnson was selected as the Lions' second overall pick in the NFL draft after playing college football for Georgia Tech. Over his 9 seasons in Detroit, Johnson stood out and earned a record-breaking list of accomplishments.
Calvin Johnson, who makes the catch!
SVP of Marketing and Brand for the Lions, Emily Griffin, said that choosing Johnson to join the Pride of the Lions was a no-brainer.
We selected Calvin easily. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2021 after a remarkable season where he was a 6-time Pro Bowl selection, a 3-time first-team All-Pro. He racked up 11,619 yards, 731 catches, and 83 touchdowns.
Johnson, touchdown!
On top of that, Johnson also still holds the record for the most single-season receiving yards than any other wide receiver in NFL history.
He's going! Calvin Johnson being chased by 4 Cowboys inside the 10.
It's a prime time, big stage on Monday Night Football. It seems like a perfect fit.
Griffin added that not only is it exciting for the team and the fans, it's also especially exciting for her.
It means a lot to us. To me personally, you know, he is a big reason why I became a bigger Lions fan. He is the first Lions jersey I ever bought. He is just extraordinary, and watching him play was a privilege.
Johnson will officially join during tonight's game at halftime. 100 former Lions players will take to the field, and Lomas Brown, the last Lion to be inducted, will do the honors and reveal Calvin's name in the stadium, where it will now remain forever. For the first time this postseason, Tigers found themselves leaving the diamond with a loss. The Guardians threw a tough punch, but with just a day off between games 1 and 2, manager A.J. Hinch only has time prepping the team for its next match out in Cleveland. Looking to avoid going down 2 games in the ALDS, there is nobody else the Tigers would rather have on the mound than Tarek Skubal. In Game 1 against the Astros last Tuesday, Skubal threw 6 shutout innings, and tomorrow he will look to even up the series. Of course, the Bats will have to get going against Matthew Boyd, but October baseball isn't meant to be easy, and Detroit seems hopeful. Yesterday was just 1 loss in the midst of a deep postseason run.
You know, their lineup from the top, you got an all-star at the top who sets the tone and a beast in the middle, and a lot of different guys throughout that put pressure on you, and then we saw their big bullpen. So, you know, this is obviously Game 1, and we get a day off to reset. We've been really good at it, and you know, we plan to throw our best out there in Game 2.
Game 2 is set for a 4:08 first pitch on TBS. And out in Ann Arbor, Michigan dropping its first game of the Big Ten play and national championship rematch with Washington. And to make matters worse, the quarterback merry-go-round continued, with Sharon Moore turning to his 3rd quarterback of the season. The first 3 weeks, it was Davis Warren. The last 2, Alex Orji. But trailing 14-0 against the Huskies, Moore made the move to senior Jack Tuttle, and the Wolverines would respond with 14 unanswered points. But in the 4th, Tuttle turned the ball over on 2 consecutive drives, and a fumble and an interception that sealed the game for Washington. Tuttle finished 10 for 18 yards with 98 yards, a touchdown and an interception headed into its bye week. Safe to say no one knows who should be the next Michigan starting quarterback.
Yeah, I thought it came out and gave us a spark early. Obviously, 3 straight drives. You know, we had a touchdown, field goal, touchdown. So I think the players fed off of that. He practiced well all week and got back healthy, which was great for us. And you know, we'll see. But positive. I think he gave us a spark. So we'll see if he'll be the starter. Looks like he's giving us the best chance. So obviously we got to clean up the turnover at the end. But he definitely had a exciting start to the game.
It's still unclear if Tuttle's performance on Saturday will move him into the starting quarterback spot. The Wolverines are off Saturday before taking on Illinois the following week. And if anyone is looking for the Alliance this NFL Sunday, you won't find him. Detroit is on his bye week, sitting 3-1 right in the thick of things in a crowded NFC North. Coming off their best overall game in the season with a win over the Seahawks, Dan Campbell says his team's feeling good, but is using this week to get a couple of the team's big pieces healthy. But this bye week is also a great time to continue to get better, and Campbell implores all of his coaches and players to see where they are a quarter of the way into the season.
It's so early in the season. I think it's more about let's look at ourselves here individually as position coaches, coordinators, and myself, head coach, and let's say where are we at? What are we doing well? What are we not doing well? How do we help these guys? And I think that's really got to be the emphasis right now.
The Lions are back in action 1 week from today to take on the Dallas Cowboys out in Dallas. Welcome back to 13 On Your Side Sports. I'm Maddie Monroe. For the first time this postseason, the Tigers found themselves leaving the diamond with a loss. It was a tough first matchup in the series against the Guardians, and with just a one-day break between games, manager A.J. Hinch has zero time to dwell on the loss. Looking to avoid going down 2 games in the 5-game series, there is nobody else the Tigers would rather have on the mound than Tarek Skubal. In Game 1 against the Astros last Tuesday, Skubal threw 6 shutout innings, and tomorrow he will look to even up the series. Of course, it's not all up to Skubal. Tigers bats also have to get going against Matthew Boyd. But October baseball isn't meant to be easy, and Detroit is hopeful that yesterday was just one loss in the midst of a historic deep postseason run.
You know, their lineup from the top, you got an all-star at the top who sets the tone and a beast in the middle, and a lot of different guys throughout that put pressure on you, and then we saw their big bullpen. So, you know, this is obviously Game 1, and we get a day off to reset. We've been really good at it, and you know, we plan to throw our best out there in Game 2.
Game 2 tomorrow is set for a 4:08 first pitch on TBS. And also in Detroit, if you're looking for the Lions this Sunday, you might be disappointed. Detroit is on its bye week, sitting with a 3-1 record in the NFC North. It's a crowded division, but the Lions are coming off their best overall game this season. After the win over the Seahawks, Dan Campbell says his team is feeling pretty good, but they plan to use the bye week to get a couple of the team's best guys healthy and ready for what comes next. This week off is also a great time to get better, and Dan Campbell asked his team to check in and see how they fare a quarter of the way into the season.
It's so early in the season. I think it's more about let's look at ourselves here individually as position coaches, coordinators, and myself, head coach, and let's say where are we at? What are we doing well? What are we not doing well? How do we help these guys? And I think that's really got to be the emphasis right now.
The Lions are back in action 1 week from today to take on the Cowboys out in Dallas. And out in Ann Arbor, Michigan lost its first game of Big Ten play with its highly anticipated national championship rematch against Washington. To make matters worse, the quarterback confusion continued, with Sharon Moore enlisting his 3rd quarterback of the year. For the first 3 weeks, it was Davis Warren. The last 2, Alex Orji. But trailing 14-0 against the Huskies, Moore made the move to senior Jack Tuttle, and the Wolverines would respond with 14 unanswered points. But Tuttle couldn't keep the momentum going. 2 consecutive drives in the 4th, Tuttle gave the ball away with 2 turnovers. Then a fumble and an interception that sealed the game for Washington. Tuttle finished 10 for 18 with 98 yards, 1 touchdown, and an interception. Now headed into its bye week, it's safe to say that no one knows who the starting quarterback will be going forward.
Yeah, I thought it came out and gave us a spark early. Obviously, 3 straight drives. You know, we had a touchdown, field goal, touchdown. So I think the players fed off of that. He practiced well all week and got back healthy, which was great for us. And you know, we'll see. But positive. I think he gave us a spark. So we'll see if he'll be the starter. Looks like he's giving us the best chance. So obviously we got to clean up the turnover at the end. But he definitely had a exciting start to the game.
It's still unclear if Tuttle's performance on Saturday will move him into that starting spot. The Wolverines are also off this weekend before taking on Illinois the following. The Detroit Lions back in action against the Minnesota Vikings, coming off an electric win against the Cowboys last week. But this game is a biggie, the first without dominant defensive end Aiden Hutchinson, and the first divisional game of the season. And a Lions win could elevate Detroit into that #1 spot in the NFC. But out in Minnesota, the Lions had a rocky start in the first quarter. Aaron Jones throws points on the board with a 34-yard touchdown, putting the Vikings at an early lead. But at the start of the second, the Lions are getting it back on track. Jamar Gibbs with an explosive 45-yard touchdown run, the longest ever for the running back, giving the Lions their first points on the board, and they trail by 3. Now looking to add to that score, Jared Goff follows it up with a great throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and the Lions take the lead. But they aren't done yet. End of the first half, and the Lions are in the red zone with another Gibbs touchdown. 21 straight points for Detroit at the end of the first half. But the Vikings are looking to even that score. Justin Jefferson gets in for a 25-yard touchdown and cuts the Lions' lead to 4. Detroit then responds with a long drive and a 21-yard touchdown for Khalif Raymond. But that lead doesn't stick. Late in the 4th, David Montgomery fumbles and the Vikings recover it off the drop and make it into the end zone, taking the lead 29-28. But in true Detroit fashion, the Lions continue to find a way to win. They're running down the clock in the fourth quarter, and Jason Bates makes that 44-yard field goal. The Vikings lose their undefeated streak, and Detroit brings home a win 31-29, taking that #1 spot in the NFC North.
Goff and that O-line takes us right down the field with Gibbs and St. Brown and, man, Bates. How about that? What a kick. What a kick, man. So just a great team win, complimentary football across the board, offense, defense, special teams when we need it most, and really proud of these guys. That's a huge win on the road, tough environment, first one, and you don't want to say must win, but we needed that in a bad way.
And the Lions are back at Ford Field next Sunday against the Tennessee Titans. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. And that's it for sports. We'll be right back.
13 on your sidelines, College Edition, sponsored by the Michigan Gaming Control Board.
Welcome back to 13 on your sidelines, College Edition. I'm Maddie Monroe, in for Jacob Seuss. Michigan State is coming off a tough loss against Michigan last week, falling to their biggest rivals. But now they face an even tougher opponent. Indiana comes into this match undefeated and with their starting quarterback back in the game. But the Spartans have the opportunity to be the first team to take down the Hoosiers and bring home the old brass spittoon. And at the start of the game, Indiana is trailing for the first time this season, after Aiden Childs finishes off a fantastic drive with a throw to Nick March, who makes the catch for an 18-yard touchdown. MSU finishes the first quarter 10-0. But Indiana's offense gets on the board in the second. Curtis Rourke throws to a wide-open Zach Horton for a 17-yard touchdown pass. The Spartans hold the lead 10-7. But Indiana is rolling now with points on the board. Tyson Lawton with a rushing touchdown, and the Hoosiers take the lead. Indiana scores 21 unanswered points at the end of the first half. The Spartans trail at 10. The Hoosiers continue to dominate on the Spartans in the second half. Rourke makes a deep throw to Sarrett, widening the lead some more. And despite efforts from Childs to get the ball rolling again for the Spartans, the Hoosiers take home the win. Final score, 47-10.
Okay, well, obviously that was tough. You're going to get exposed against a really good team when you don't execute very well. And credit to those guys. Sometimes we're quickly just think about ourselves and how we did. Those guys executed at a really high level. The separation between the two execution levels of the two teams, and that's why the score is where it's at. All three phases. And, you know, started the game, felt like the guys had great energy, and we were moving around. And, you know, first quarter went our way, but then it turned into playing 3 more quarters against a really good team. And all 3 phases, we just contributed to a lopsided loss. So we have to regroup and got a bye here to absorb this thing. 3 opportunities moving forward.
And after this game, Michigan State is still 2 wins away from being bowl eligible, but the Spartans are off next week, then back on the road against Illinois. Game time has not yet been set. And the University of Michigan also taking on an undefeated team, but unlike the Sparties, Michigan comes into this matchup with a win under their belts. With their hands back on the Paul Bunyan Trophy, Michigan is looking to pull a huge upset in Ann Arbor. But the Ducks are ready to defend their streak. Dylan Gabriel makes a perfect pass to Evan Stewart deep in the end zone, putting them up 7-0. But the Wolverines are back in it, turning a fumbled punt into points on the board after a great catch from Tyler Morris. Score is tied now 7-7. But Oregon answers in the second quarter. Noah Whittingham is in the red zone and pushes past the defense to put the Ducks back on the lead 14-7. And they're not done yet. Dylan Gabriel with the ball, and he makes getting past the defense look easy as he brings it in for another as they widen the lead 28-10 at the half. But the Wolverines are back in the red zone in the third quarter. Davis Warren with the throw to Peyton O'Leary, who snags it, shortening Oregon's lead 28-17. But the Wolverines can't make up the difference. Jordan James rolls through for another touchdown for the Ducks, and Oregon brings home a win, remains undefeated. Final score, 38-17.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome to watch those guys in the second half, the energy, the excitement that they brought. But we got to start that way. You know, but I really thought, you know, the defense went out there. We said we're going to go for a 3-and-out. They stopped it. Offense went down, 10-play drive, scored. So you felt the momentum going, and defense comes back, get another big stop. So you felt that momentum, but we got to finish.
And unlike the Spartans, the Wolverines are just 1 win away from bowl eligibility, and they face another undefeated team next week as they play Indiana on the road. Now let's check in on the scoreboard. While the Spartans and the Wolverines didn't bring home wins, other Michigan teams added to their score column. Grand Valley taking on Wayne State University at home. Final score 51-28 for the Lakers. Hope College also playing at home, beating Albion College 41-14 and keeping their undefeated streak. Ferris State dominating over Northern Michigan 55-9, now with 8 wins and only 1 loss so far, while Calvin went home with a loss against Olivet 21-13. And that's it for sports. We'll be right back. After 4 games on the road, the Lions are finally back at Ford Field, taking on the Tennessee Titans for their first AFC matchup of the season. The Lions are on a 4-game winning streak, dominating against the Dallas Cowboys and then the Minnesota Vikings, taking that #1 spot in the NFC. Meanwhile, the Titans have lost their last 2 games and have only 1 win under their belts this season. And those records show at the start of this game. The Titans have the ball, but that doesn't last long. Mason Rudolph feels the pressure from the defense, and Trevor Nowaski makes the interception. Lions now have possession, and they are in the red zone. David Montgomery gets snagged by a defender, but pushes through for that early touchdown, putting them at the lead 7-0. But Mason Rudolph is ready for redemption after that interception, driving wide with little pressure and ties it up for the Titans 7-7. But on the next play, Jahmyr Gibbs has the ball and he takes off running. He might want to consider track after this play. An incredible 70-yard touchdown puts Detroit on top. And this game is one touchdown after another. The Titans offense rolling again, and Rudolph throws to Westbrook Ikine deep in the end zone. But every time the Titans think they've got something going, the Lions make something else happen. Amon-Ra St. Brown is wide open and makes this catch look easy. The Lions finish the first half with 35 points on the board. The Titans trail with 14. And Detroit continues their scoring run in the second half with a 90-yard touchdown return off of a punt return from Caleb Raymond. Lions absolutely crushed the Titans. Final score, 52-14.
And it's like I told them, that's what champions do. And you come out, you don't care what time of day it is, what the records are, what the surface is. You come out and handle your business. And we did that. Now, we did not play our cleanest ball. We really didn't. However, when you have 4 takeaways on defense, you're 5 of 5 in the red zone, and you have the returns that our special teams unit had, punt return and kick return, then you can get a lot of production and things sway your way.
And the Lions are away next week for another NFC matchup against the Green Bay Packers. Kickoff is set for 4:25 in Wisconsin. And that's it for sports. We'll be right back. Welcome back to 13 on Your Side Sports. I'm Maddie Monroe, in for Jacob Seuss. The Detroit Lions squaring off against their Midwest rivals, the Green Bay Packers in Wisconsin, trying to hold on to that #1 spot in the NFC North. The Lions offense have had a historic season so far, but the Packers defense could prove a challenge. But starting in the first quarter, the Packers seem to struggle. Chris Brooks drops a pass from Jordan Love, forcing them to take a field goal, a big mistake so far in this game. Lions keep up the pressure, and Jared Goff goes for it. Throws a great pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he makes the catch, putting them up 7-3. And the Packers just can't quite seem to catch up. Brandon McManus goes for a 46-yard field goal, but misses. Jordan Love, falling for the pressure again, throws into the crowd, and it's picked off by Kirby Joseph, who makes the touchdown run off an incredible interception. Lions widen their lead 17-3 at the half. Moving now to the second half, and the Lions are still dominating this game. Jahmyr Gibbs breaks through the line for a 15-yard touchdown run on 4th and 1, and the Lions hold that 24-6 lead for the rest of the third. But the Packers are keeping it alive with a touchdown drive late in the 4th. But their late-game offense is no use for the Lions, as the Lions bring home a victory win 24-14 in a cold but rainy victory out at Lambeau.
Time you win, you learn something from it, and you get better at winning. You learn. And the hard thing is about winning, you learn those things. You got to continue to learn. But I know this. I'm not shocked one bit that we came out here and played pretty good football out in the elements. That we're built for this, man. And it doesn't matter. And just because we play indoors, it doesn't matter, man. We can play anywhere. We can play in the snow. We can play in the rain. We can play in the mud. That's just us. And we're built to win, man.
And this victory marks the Lions' 3rd straight win at Lambeau Field and keeping them in the #1 spot in their division. And the Lions are back on the road next week, facing off the Houston Texans for a late game at 8:20. And that's it for sports. We'll be right back.